Righteousness exalts, promoting our worldview. When given a voice, such as a social platform or a vote, to influence a community or culture, should we promote a strictly biblical worldview, or should we soften it to accommodate diversity? In other words, should we fully promote what we think is true, or neglect to point others toward what we believe is correct for fear of offending them? Firstly, we should inform our choice here based not on how our fellow citizens might react, but on whether our choice pleases God or not. In the end, our peers will not be our judges. God himself will reward us all according to our deeds. Romans 2:5 and 6. We ought to please God rather than man. Galatians 1:10. Secondly, we should acknowledge Torah as God's universal standard of righteousness for all mankind. Romans 3:19. It is not merely Jewish law. Deuteronomy 4:8. Breaking it is the definition of sin, independent of race or nationality. 1 John 3:4. We should also recognize that righteousness exalts a nation, and that sin is a reproach to any people. Proverbs 14:34. The more closely our nation's laws and general civil order align with Torah, the better off all of us will be. And we should not find it charitable to deviate from the law of love in the name of compassion and tolerance. All of Torah hangs on, depends on, and is upheld by the law of love. Matthew 22:37-40. Denying the law of love is not love. This is fear. Finally, we should observe that when Christ returns, he will rule the nations with a rod of iron. Revelation 2:25. Enforcing Torah with justice, precision, and rigor. Micah 4:2. Freedom of religion is not on his radar. We should be prepared to humbly yet unapologetically defend God and his laws in the face of those who presumptuously make up moral law as they go. We should not be ashamed of anything in Torah. Luke 9:26. Yet we should be careful to promote Torah itself, not man-made additions to it, and anticipate those who might legalistically abuse Torah to create a burden or twist it to impose injustice. This is especially true when our judges are fallible, when society itself is composed largely of unbelievers. Torah was originally imposed in just such a context, ancient Israel, and it is perfectly designed for it. So, we should pray for and encourage the enactment of laws which reflect both the letter and spirit of Torah, which focus on well-defined and achievable behaviors, and which are easily interpreted and supported with impartial, enforceable penalties. We should also remember that God's kingdom is not of this world, and that he is working all things out according to his own will and plan. We should expect to be in the small minority in our entire worldview, and glad for opportunities to engage others, to understand and appreciate it as well as we can. Comment number 1. I suppose this is more or less an academic argument, for I would never actually expect my worldview to become the least bit popular in any nation before Jesus Christ returns. Scripture states the carnal mind cannot be subject to God's law. Even Israel has never followed it consistently. The exercise is to align myself with God's pleasure and trust him with the outcome. Comment number 2. If this approach is to be validated, I must consider how I would feel if Muslims, Hindus, and Buddhists vote this way in the West, seeking to impose their worldview on me. I expect them to do so for the same reason I would, yet I hope they do not become a majority. Comment number 3. We should also be careful to articulate that separation of church and state is required. We should not mandate that anyone join a particular religious organization or subscribe to a particular theology. Behaviors penalized in Torah are unrelated to theology. They focused on external behaviors which can be obeyed. Matters of the heart cannot be legislated in our day. These lie between men and God, where they belong.